The story begins with an old man, Lee Hughes, working alone at his resort, located in the middle of nowhere. He's been trying to escape his past. He notices a foreclosure notice from the bank, but chooses to ignore it. That night, he looks at a photo of his wife and daughter, feeling sorrowful. Meanwhile, his daughter Megan is hosting a party at her place and chatting with her coworkers. Suddenly, her girlfriend, Lane, shows up unexpectedly. Megan introduces Lane to everyone as her roommate instead of her girlfriend. This hurts Lane, and she walks away to get a drink. Megan tries to apologize, but Lane tells her she just wants to rest. Later that night, Megan can't sleep. She finds a letter from her father, inviting her to Elk Resort. Back at the resort, Lee contacts his client, Miss Waynes, who had shown interest in booking the resort for a vacation. He invites her for a walk to inspect the place before the bank visit. Waynes agrees. After the call, Lee once again looks at Megan's photo, reminded that time is running out because of his lung cancer. Meanwhile, Megan again apologizes to Lane and promises she won't hide their relationship again. The next morning, 4 men, led by a man named Jimmy, arrive at the resort. They're looking for Lee, with some unfinished business to settle. They soon spot Lee's Jeep parked outside. Before they can go inside, Lee sees them and quickly runs off. Jimmy takes Roman with him and sends Cody and Duke around to the other side. Lee hurries to his den, writes a note, grabs a wooden sparrow and a bag full of money, then rushes out. Along the way, he drops the note and sparrow as a clue for Megan to find. Moments later, Jimmy reaches the den and realizes Lee saw them coming. Lane asks Megan about her relationship with her father. Megan begins by mentioning the struggles they faced after her mother's death. But soon, she starts recalling the good times. She tells Lane about the treasure hunts her dad used to plan, leaving clues for her to solve and find the prize. She also remembers the carving knife he once gave her. Using it, they carved a magpie together, and ever since, her dad started calling her Magpie. Meanwhile, Jimmy approaches Roman and tells him Lee is on the run. He reminds him not to shoot. They need Lee alive. Back with Megan and Lane, Lane gifts Megan a phone tracker. She laughs, remembering how they spent hours searching for Lane's phone during their last vacation. Megan heads inside to grab her antidepressants and the old carving knife from her dad. At the resort, Roman spots Lee quietly watching Duke near the parking lot. He quickly informs Jimmy and Cody. As Duke walks into the parking area, Lee sneaks up and strangles him with a rope. After killing Duke, Lee tries to escape, but Jimmy arrives, and Lee ends up getting caught. On their way to the resort, Megan and Lane stop at a small store, the only place to grab essentials in the area. Megan then warns Lane about her father's past. She tells her he once shot at police and robbed banks. Lane, however, trusts Megan and insists on meeting him anyway. While exploring, they find a bar and decide to dance, hoping to forget their troubles for a while. Back at the resort, Jimmy starts beating Lee, blaming him for stealing the $2 million and leaving him behind. He says he was betrayed by his own crew and left for dead. But Lee refuses to take responsibility. During the fight, Jimmy finds Megan's photo in Lee's pocket. He threatens to hurt her if Lee doesn't hand over the money. Lee insists he has none, which only angers Jimmy more. In a fit of rage, Jimmy tortures him and even pulls out one of his teeth. He warns Lee that if he keeps resisting, Megan will suffer the consequences. As Lee starts coughing badly from his worsening lung cancer, Jimmy drags him outside for air and gives him one last chance to talk. But Lee, barely breathing, curses Jimmy and dies right there. To make sure he's really dead, Jimmy fires 2 bullets into his body. On the way back, Jimmy tells Cody that in his day, Lee would have killed them all. Cody argues they shouldn't have killed Lee. They won't find the money now. Jimmy snaps, punches him, and orders a full search. Meanwhile, Megan and Lane arrive at the resort and head to their cabin. They're touched by Lee's decorations, but Megan gets emotional. Lane comforts her with a kiss, but Megan insists they see Lee first. As they drive, Roman watches from afar. When they stop, he approaches. Megan introduces herself as Lee's daughter and assumes Roman is security, but he has other plans. Creeped out by his stare, the girls walk away. Inside, Roman tells Jimmy and Cody that they have company. Jimmy is shocked to see Megan. He offers drinks and claims they're also waiting for Lee, who hasn't shown. Lane finds that odd as they saw his Jeep outside. Jimmy jokes about Megan and Lane's relationship, angering Megan. When they try to leave, Cody blocks them. Jimmy mocks her mother, and when Megan lashes out, he orders Cody to tie her up. Megan demands to know where her father is. Jimmy coldly tells her Lee is dead and didn't suffer as much as he deserved. Heartbroken, she listens as Roman is sent out on rounds. Jimmy explains Lee was devastated when Megan left. He tried to shield her from people like Jimmy. Outside, Roman spots a car. Jimmy tells Megan about Lee's lung cancer, something he never told her. Then, he demands the money, but Megan has no idea. Not believing her, Jimmy forces her to swallow her father's tooth. Just then, Roman returns, warning Jimmy about the car and telling him to handle it. Jimmy steps outside to greet Miss Waynes, who's there for an inspection. Pretending to be Lee, he plays dumb until she explains. He gets permission to enter and quickly tells Roman to disable Megan's car. He's taking Wayne's on rounds. As Jimmy stalls Wayne's, Roman cuts the car's power. Inside, Cody is left alone with the girls. He warns them to stay put while he goes to pee. Megan swaps spots with Lane and tells her to grab the carving knife from her pocket. Lane hesitates, but Megan urges her to stab Cody anywhere. When Cody returns, he's furious at Megan for switching places, but Lane stabs him in the chest, and they both run. They hide in a room, and Lane frees Megan's hands. Cody searches, but can't find them. After he's gone, Megan grabs a master key and they decide to head for the safe room. Roman returns, finds Cody bleeding, and questions him. Just then, Cody spots the girls upstairs. He and Roman chase them, but the girls lock themselves in. Roman sends Cody away and breaks down the door. As he charges in, Megan jumps from the balcony, leaving Lane behind. Roman yells after her, but Cody goes after Megan into the woods, firing at her and missing. The gunshot spooks Miss Wayne's. With no way out, Jimmy strangles her to death. Downstairs, Roman grabs Lane and says he's going to have some fun. Megan hides in the parking lot, but Cody finds her. As he forces her forward, she spots a gun nearby but can't reach it. Back inside, Roman exposes Lane's upper body, then pauses for a drink, giving her just enough time to strike back and escape. Cody tries dragging Megan back, but she fakes a fall and smashes him with a rock. Jimmy shows up and helps him regroup. Meanwhile, Roman corners Lane in the kitchen and tries to force himself on her, until Megan bursts in to save her. They try to fight Roman, but he overpowers them. As he assaults Lane again, she reaches for nearby scissors. Megan strikes just in time, and together, they kill Roman. The girls flee before Jimmy and Cody arrive. Jimmy finds Roman's body and flips out, ordering Cody to find the girls no matter what. Hiding out, Megan suggests using the landline her dad once called from. Lane shuts it down, insisting their only option is to kill Jimmy and Cody. Before they can plan, the guys show up and the girls split. Cody chases Megan while Jimmy goes after Lane. Megan makes it to the disabled car and hides the sleeping pills. Cody almost catches her, but she uses the tracker Lane gave her to throw him off. Still, he spots her running into the building. Jimmy captures Lane and drags her into a cabin. She quickly mixes the pills into a wine bottle. When Cody enters, she surrenders and watches him drink it. At first, nothing happens. Thinking fast, Megan tries to seduce him, but he doesn't buy it. Moments later, the pills kick in. Cody starts to wobble, and Megan bolts. Meanwhile, Jimmy tortures Lane. He tells her he'd kill her if he didn't need her as leverage to get his money from Megan. He wraps sharp fencing wire around her hand and leaves her there in pain. At the same time, Cody is chasing Megan but slips. She grabs his gun and tries to shoot, but Cody reveals it's not loaded. Megan runs, but Cody jumps into the pool with her. She manages to swim back. As Cody grabs her, she traps his head between her thighs and suffocates him to death. Moments later, Jimmy finds Megan near Cody's floating body. She tries to run, but he catches her and drags her into the cabin where Lane is tied up. Megan is horrified to see Lane in such a state. Jimmy takes out a strychnine capsule and forces it into Lane's mouth. He tells Megan it'll dissolve in 20 minutes and kill her, unless Megan gives him the money. She agrees and leads him to the parking lot. While pretending to search, she tries to grab a gun, but Jimmy sees through her bluff and knocks her out. Back in the cabin, Lane fights to free herself. Even though the sharp wires injure her hands, she breaks free, finds a gun, and rushes out to save Megan. Jimmy, meanwhile, drags Megan to Lee's body for a family reunion before planning to kill her. Just as he's about to shoot, Lane appears and shoots him first, saving Megan. The two embrace, relieved to be alive. Megan finally understands how much her father loved her and breaks down mourning his death. As Megan steps outside to get some fresh air, something catches her eye in the woods. It's the wooden sparrow her father left behind. Curious, she walks over and finds a letter hidden inside. Lane joins her, and together they read it. The message reveals that the sparrow contains a clue meant just for Megan. Following the hint, they head to the parking lot and approach the golf cart marked with the number 11. Megan looks inside and is surprised to find her missing necklace. The sight of it brings back memories and fills her with emotion. Lane continues checking the cart, and the two are stunned when they discover a hidden bag. It's filled with money. The same money everyone had been chasing. They take it, quietly realizing Lee had planned all of this for Megan. And with that, the movie comes to an end.